So, this morning, I've actually gone and done some research on this coronavirus. Not coronavirus, the hepatitis. It's quite strange when you think about it. In quite a few countries, hepatitis has been spreading, but it's not been in the UK. Now, there's obviously been a couple of outbreaks. Obviously, the 14 children in Scotland. Now, realistically, the government already knew about hepatitis maybe coming to this country, or however it started how it started spreading to children, which is quite concerning of where it's come from and why it's in this country. Now, the strange thing is they haven't just found out. So we've got now, obviously, which is on the news and everyone's talking about it. You've got the scientists and things. I'm pretty much sure my daughter nearly fucking died. So the strange thing is how I've been treated as well as a human being. Well, I've got human rights. The government's supposed to protect us from things like this anyway, because a lot of stuff that we put on national telly is only little bits of what they put on. So the question is why am I unlawfully or illegally been stopped from seeing my kids? Spiteful, really. It's bullying. Because obviously I've not going to mention names, because obviously I'm being threatened to be sent to jail, basically. But the thing is, it's a fight what either I'll take on and could end up in jail, or I'll give up. A lot of it, really, I do want to give up because I've fucking had enough of it all. But obviously this has given me a good ego boost, really. It's quite frankly, where my kids are part of the investigation. Is that why I weren't allowed at the hospital? Is that why I was fucking treated like a piece of fucking shit in this country? I didn't deserve anything what actually happened. Nothing. But if someone put themselves in my shoes, the panic and the fighting what I was trying to do to try and help these kids, but no one actually listened to me. So I was humiliated, discriminated, bullied, basically emotional torture. Every fucking stupid ass contact I have via fucking video call. My own fucking kids don't even, well, my own daughter she suffers on a fucking regular basis. And it ain't normal. Whether or not people think it's acceptable, because I fucking don't, especially when your own child actually shits herself and has an accident. Because she's scared. Because of fucking morons. Because obviously, yeah, clearly this is higher up. I knew it was higher up because everyone's doing as they're told. Quite frankly, fucking hell, 40 grand a year or 50 grand a year or 30 grand a year, being a social worker or a contact worker. I personally wouldn't put up with that bullshit. Obviously, you're fucking abusing children. Now, the thing is no one fucking listening to me. Everyone thinks it's a conspiracy fucking theory. The thing is the people who think it's a conspiracy theory, the people who do not want to believe it, are the fucking small-minded tosspots. You see, I look into everything. There's always two parts to a story. I also don't just fucking watch one news channel or read one newspaper and believe what it fucking says. You see, hepatitis is a weird one. In other countries, sexual child abuse is fucking bad. It's just normal over there to just have sexual child abuse going on. This country, we have a protective factor where it is kept away from us. It has to be, because our government protects us, because we've got a decent benefit system and we're looked after, really, by the government. A lot of the truth can't come out. If the truth come out what was actually really going on in the real world, everybody who's seen the film The Matrix, that's what the world we do live in. But it's a choice, if you believe it or not. Obviously, it's took me a year to get around it with my own head. My mental health is absolutely fucking fucked up to anything. The horrible part about it is I wish I never did it, really, but I didn't have a choice to do it. The dark world is not a very nice place. I've read all the Bibles, the lot. I know how it's very complicated, especially when it goes into witchcraft and sins and opiate eaters and government experiments. But at the end of the day, the world has run a certain way, and it's run like that for decades. It's disgusting. You can't stop it. You can't fight it. You won't win it. But there is things what you can do to fight it, I suppose. That's why in a kind of a way, people just lack education. And I'm hoping I can pull this off and really go for it now and fight. Not only just because of this hepatitis. One, I really do want to put a fucking tattoo on my forehead saying I'm autistic, now fuck off. At the end of the day, I've suffered. I've struggled. When I go to read something and it's horrible to read, tears pour down my face because of my children, because they're my little girls. Whether or not it was sexual abuse, whether or not it was a fucking national government experiment, or whether they was the first case of the outbreak. The thing is, why the fuck ain't I got the fucking bloods test? Am I really worth 70 odd grand? I personally don't think I'm worth 70 odd grand. Jesus Christ, I'm a bit of a loner in the country, really. But still, it's not nice to know that really, just because of my intelligence, just because of my research and what I can do, that people never believe me. But the funny thing is to a lot of the professionals out there, I could see something wasn't right because just by their eyes, just by their body language and the way they're acting, scared, suspicious, they haven't, how can you put it? You can see that they're lying to you, but you can also see that they're scared. But in a way, yeah, I would have to be sort of treated like a bit of a piece of shit, to be honest with you, to sort of push me to one side, because the government's going to be investigating whatever it was or however it got caused. They can't tell me the truth, because they just can't. Obviously, now the truth's slowly coming out, so maybe there is a slight progress. But they ain't going to turn around and say to me, sorry, we didn't listen to you, Joss. Are they? And that's it. So we just got to find out what's going on. I still after these bloods. It's very weird because hepatitis A, B, C, D and E, they're all from the same sort of category. But obviously scientists are trying to find out why it's coming into, obviously why children are getting it, because it is concerning. Obviously my next mission is, it looks like I might have to go to Scotland. But I am after the reporter, the first reporter, so I'm uploading this video. I'm gonna put this on YouTube, and I'm gonna do my hardest today to actually try and track down the reporter who is actually pushing this out there, so we can find out what the fuck is going on. Because this reporter can help me, because my videos, whether or not it perverts the court of justice, is I'm sure I was the first person to start going around saying hepatitis. All the symptoms are there with my children. I knew it was. Even with the hepatitis B booster, they got fucking whacked up behind my back. So, at the end of the day, if I'm standing there fighting for my kids, trying to speak the truth, trying to save their lives and actually get them in hospital and explore what the fuck is going on, because I thought my own children were going to die, then I've got every single right to stand my ground and fight this, whether or not I go into jail or not. I don't want to go to jail. But unfortunately, if it has to, it comes to it, doesn't it? Me as a father, I sacrifice my own fucking life for my own kids, and I always will. Because that's the sort of father I am. Too many fucking dads out there anyway walk out. They're classed as a sperm fucking donor. Just because what? I've got a different side to me where I'm autistic. Just call it where I've got women pheromones, I'd say. I love my children. And at the end of the day, I'm here for a reason. And then if I have to sacrifice my own life or go into jail just to save my kids, and that's what I will have to fucking do. But at the same time, you didn't just do it to my kids. It happened to me. My medical record was fully unrestricted. And I was told I had hepatitis fucking C. And I ain't even fucking got it. But then I was also trying giving medication for it. Good job I didn't take that medication, because God knows, wasn't even hepatitis C medication. Fucking God knows what it would have been. Or it'd be something to give me hepatitis, I don't know. But I ain't even got it. But with the hepatitis stuff all on my records, it's all gone. It doesn't exist. But there's no way I can spend the rest of my fucking life just walking around in my own little world and none of this existed. Because it did exist. My kids were fucking abused. And it was all covered up. Whether or not it was covered up deliberately for other people to save their own jobs, or as it was because it was an outbreak of a hepatitis, but it's something what has to stay from the public. But the thing is, hepatitis is very strange. Hepatitis actually affects adults in different kinds of ways. A genetic disorder, that's impossible, because my kids were born fucking perfectly fucking healthy. And there ain't no such genetic disorder within my family anyway with that. But then you've also got how it was handled. Whether or not it was sexual child abuse, there's 4 categories of social services. It should have been treated as neglect then, because it says clear that it could be by drinking chemicals. So how on earth, because hepatitis just doesn't come flying over into the country and then decides to start making children have liver transplants. All my videos, every single fucking one of them, I've been going on about my daughters. I've been going on about their liver. And I've been worried sick that my other daughter had hepatitis and it was still in her body. And about them having the antibodies of hepatitis B. And then all of a sudden, yes, that's it. It's all out in the open, isn't it now? Obviously, over the next few days, there's going to be quite a few, obviously, more reports coming through. But now it explains why I'm being threatened to go to jail for fighting to go and get my kid's blood test. Because I've got half of my kid's medical record fucking missing. But the thing is she was treated with that bloody antibiotic. What treats goddamn gonorrhea. I suppose, yeah, because hepatitis, it'd kill my kids, wouldn't it? But if it's going to kill me kids, I've got to do something about it. Now, in a mad way, I wonder if all these things what they've done to me, pushed me away from the children and that, and fucking emotionally tortured me and kept me weak, because my weakness is the kids. Because obviously, when I'm upset or when I'm heartbroken, because there's not one day, there's not a second of every, all I do is think about everything what's gone on. At the end of the day, then my little girls, and obviously they were screaming for their dad, and obviously I couldn't fucking find them. Why? Because they were hidden. Clearly. They were absolutely hidden. But what else am I supposed to think? Because everybody knows hepatitis normally comes from sexually transmitted diseases. It's a blood infection. So, and I don't know how on earth a kid would get a blood infection from Aviston. I don't know. But I don't know where they are. That's why it's important for me, as a father, to keep my fucking kids, basically to keep the parental responsibility. Because I don't like adoption, you lose your responsibility. I can't really talk much about my court hearing, because obviously I had someone come and deliver me a fucking court order. Obviously I am being threatened of going to jail, which is absolutely fucking diabolical, really. Is why the fuck would I be getting threatened to go to jail, and why the fuck do I want to see my kids shitting themselves and being scared and crying on my fucking national TV? But I class that as child abuse, but that's something else I will fight after I've dealt with this one. Because I don't appreciate being called a fucking liar. So the next step is obviously what we'll be doing is going straight to Warwick Hospital, finding a reporter, and I've got to go to Scotland. But whatever this is, I've got to find out where the source came from. Because I personally think it actually came from, because the sexual child abuse is obviously out there, it will spread, I suppose, because obviously there's a lot of it. There's a lot more of it going on. But I don't expect my kids to be right in the fucking middle of it, and then I suffer, and so do them kids. At the end of the day, I've done that many courses when it comes to child abuse and things like that. I'm more smart than near enough every fucking social worker in Warwickshire. And really, it's one of my things what I'm good at doing, and it's all in my psychological assessments, and it's all in my mental health assessments, is I can take in so much knowledge from all different kinds of authorities, and it will stay embedded in my brain, and then I'll use bits of it from different destinations and use it as a weapon. At the end of the day, my fight is not because I don't like the government. My fight is because you nearly killed my fucking kids. And then you didn't even have any remorse over it, and you carried on still abusing my kids, and you still make them suffer now. And it's made me that fucking ill. I can't even move my legs half the time when I get into this. My body will shut down because it hurts so much. I've never known anything in my life. At the end of the day, they're my daughters, but I still stand to this day, though, and I still will fight. I do have 3 daughters, and 3 of them were abused in the system. So as a father, I'm pretty much sure it's a good job I'm still alive, I suppose, because a lot of people wouldn't even be able to cope with this at all. And the thing is I've tried speaking to so many different people. I've tried speaking to different members of the public, but you know how it feels when no one fucking believes you, and everyone classes it as you're on drugs or you're drinking. It's quite fucking sick. And to be fair, yeah, I will be shoving this in everybody's face. Because how do you think I felt when I'm running around like a fucking arsehole, going to police station, making loads of phone calls to the police, and somebody goes, a conspiracy theory. Quite frankly, what wankers people really are. If this was in Birmingham, this was like if this was a Muslim or say a different culture, or a Sikh, say, I'll tell you what, all this would have been over a long time ago because it would have stuck together. But us as fucking English, it's ridiculous. Everyone's two-faced, and everybody is just so far up their ass. Nobody even gives a fuck anymore, do they? But then everyone sits there, especially the white English. They're a bit hypocritical, really, because they're moaning about the government, they're moaning about the system. But you ever thought it's the white English people as a culture what actually cause it amongst yourselves? I could have done with a lot of support a long time ago. And to be fair, it's actually fucking horrible when people look at you as a drunk or look at you as a fucking junkie or a druggie, when actually you're just a heartbroken father. You see, my kids won't ever remember any of this. I will. It's never going to go. Ever. The vivid nightmares. I can hear my kids screaming in my head. Every single fucking day I cry. Because they did needed their father. And I tried my hardest to fucking find them. And I tried my hardest to save them. I did at one point. I chased a foster care for 100 fucking miles, didn't I? But it did save them. But that was an outrageous decision to make because you knew for a full fact that your kids are going to die. People just need to open their eyes and actually look at what's going on around them. Because just, there's a saying, isn't there, you know, no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. And at the end of the day, to all the other parents out there what are dealing with social services and things like that, get some education before you start shouting your mouth off of things and fighting certain things. Because this is all I've cared about. It's took over my life. And to be fair, I'm quite proud of myself that I've read the whole fucking Bible. That was hard work, but I did. But it goes into a lot of other deep things. But I have gone very far into the dark world. And I can't stop but research it all and go into it. It's not going to do me any favours in life, no. But I still have to find out what happened to them children. But I don't even know if I'm going to get a bollocking for this fucking video. Because obviously, yeah, I don't even know if it's classed as breaking my fucking orders. Am I scared? Yeah, of course I am. I'm petrified. I can just imagine a load of coppers just come flying around and I'm nicked. And they're not even Warwickshire police either. Fighting the government is a big thing. You know? It's a big thing, isn't it? Guy Fawkes. If people are actually more interested in it and interested in politics, the question is, why did Guy Fawkes blow up the fucking Parliament? You need to actually research and find out why. And look at how this world is actually really run. But the idea is of all of it is you have to believe it. You have to believe it and you have to accept it, what's gone on. All right, our government can save, say, 20,000 children. But at the same time, the government have to turn their back on 20,000 children. And they die. And they get raped and abused and sold for sex. But there's not much we can do about that. Because realistically, they can't save all of them. We can't save everybody. Sacrifices have to be made. And the world has to be kept at a certain pace. And peace has to be made with certain things. And things have to be done. It's just one of them. And I'm not only just in the dark world by reading. I'm actually in the dark world by going right into it. I'm not going to even say much of what I'll get up to and what I've been doing. But yeah, it's quite an interesting sort of world. But the good definition of it is the Matrix. It's not a mystery, it's not a conspiracy theory. And it's not just in my head. It's reality. But the thing is, I didn't really want to be in reality, to be fair. Because it's fucked up my whole life. I don't even think therapy will even help me, I suppose. But I'm going to leave it from there and I'm going to get cracking on and try and find this reporter. Because this reporter, whoever you are, I could absolutely kiss you. Because this is what I've wanted, the truth to finally come out. But one of my main reasons is, I don't know, but I wonder, they're bringing out the outbreak now, so 14 children in Scotland have obviously found out they've got the hepatitis. Obviously 2 children have had the liver transplant. Was my kids the first kids in the UK to have this hepatitis? Because it's outrageous why a parent can't go to hospital to see their own children. And you've got laws in place. All the laws to do with children were broken. All the laws with, obviously, CPS, and obviously you've got Crown Prosecution Magistrates, all broken. That's why it sent me a bit doolally, because we have laws and rules in this country for a reason. But they're all fucking broken. And I'm just made out to be the nutcase. I'm just pushed to one side. Just think how that feels. That's maybe why I was just left to my own devices, I suppose. It is making sense now. Because they can't tell me the truth. And, what's the word? To be cruel to be kind. So, maybe the government and social services had to be cruel. And basically be a bit rough with me, I suppose, to keep me at bay while they put this all under investigation. Because they have to, don't they? I'm not exactly the easiest person to get on with, and I am hard work, and I'm very, I can make a lot of fucking phone calls, and I don't ever give up. So maybe that is why, because I've noticed people are being really nice as well. Too nice, to be honest with you. But hopefully, fingers crossed, this will get out. I can get this out there. Be nice. I'll be really, really proud of myself if I can end up on national TV on BBC News. Because I was the first person to bring out the fucking hepatitis.